When you're living life, a lot of your attention is on your outer environment. And what is your outer environment made up of? Bodies, people, things, objects, places, and time. A lot of our attention is on our body, how we're feeling. Are we hungry? Are we tired? We're angry? We're frustrated? We have pain? And a lot of our attention is on time, like how much time do we have? Where do we have to go? What do we have to do? And it's the act of keeping your attention on your body, your environment, and time that all of a sudden keeps you separate from your inner world of thoughts and feelings. So that we love this idea of teaching people how to sit down and disconnect from their outer environment. If you're listening to soft music and you have your blindfolds on or your eyes closed, you're less likely to be influenced by your outer world. If you're sitting still and you're not getting up and moving and feeling and experiencing and tasting and smelling and eating, then less information is coming into you as well. And if you're not thinking about where you need to be tomorrow or what you have to do later or what happened yesterday, but you're in the present moment, meditation is the perfect way to make your inner world more real than your outer world. Now you can execute thoughts. Now you can drive your attention in a certain way. You can become aware while you're sitting there that you're sitting there and all of a sudden you're getting angry for no reason. Well, what's up with that? You're just sitting there and you're angry. That should tell you that your body on some level is craving that emotion. So when people start to understand they may be addicted to anger, and I'm allowing them to sit there and work with that anger and keep bringing their body back to the present moment, they're training their body. Just like you're training in your gym, you're training your body to no longer be the mind. And the act of doing that over and over again is you're training the animal. And sooner or later, the animal's going to go, I'm not the mind. You're the mind. I'm going to let go. And when it finally surrenders, the person gets a biological upgrade. And that biological upgrade happens in a matter of seconds. So I love this because you don't have you can't tell me you're too old to do this. You can't tell me you're too out of shape to do this. You can't tell me you're too sick to do this. You can't tell me your past was too brutal to do this, because I've seen transformation in all shapes and sizes. So if 95%, Ben, of who we are by the time we're 35 years old is a set of memorized behaviors, automatic unconscious habits, emotional reactions, beliefs, perceptions, and attitudes that function subconsciously like a computer program, then in order for us to change, then we got to dive into that operating system and become conscious of it. And the word meditation literally means to become familiar with. So you got to become familiar with those thoughts, those emotions, those behaviors, and become so familiar and conscious of them that you would never go unconscious again. And then you got to decide what thoughts you do want to fire and wire in your brain. You got to rehearse mentally who you're going to be. And the act of rehearsing and thinking about who you're going to be, planning your behaviors, begins to install the neurological hardware in your brain to look like that experience has already happened. Now your brain is no longer a record of the past. Now it's a map to the future. Now, if you keep doing it, firing and wiring, the hardware becomes a software program. And the next thing you know, you're thinking like a happy person. You're acting like an unlimited person because you would put the circuits in place. And then the last step is to teach your body emotionally what that future is going to feel like before it happens. And if you keep cultivating those states of mind and body, neurologically and chemically, it's going to begin to become familiar to you. And you're going to go from one personality to another. And the disease or the problem is going to exist in the old personality, and you're literally someone else. And the person doesn't have to visualize their cancer going away. They'll just tell you the cancer was in the other person. I'm somebody else. Can't live here. And the disease naturally goes away. So it's a side effect of a change. I have sat with my body, Ben, for hours, and I have watched my mind run all over the place. And there are certain thoughts that you really want to believe in because they're part of you. But when you start really overcoming your own personal limitations, and you're no longer knee-jerking to the people and conditions in your life because you've been sitting there in your meditation and your body's throwing the kitchen sink at you, and you're just saying that's all you got, that's it, I'm gonna keep going. Sooner or later, when you break free from the chains of those habits and those emotions, and your body begins to liberate energy, we've measured this, and you start feeling joyful and free, and your heart starts to open, and you're in love with life, and you're moved, and This is a feeling that's not coming from anywhere outside of you. It's coming from within you. I guarantee you'll stand in the presence of your greatest adversary, your biggest betrayer, the person that threw you under the bus, and you'll look that person in the eye and you will have nothing but love for them, because you'll see a part of yourself you used to be that you no longer are. And the moment that happens, you no longer belong to your past, you belong to your future. And now you see it as a lesson instead of like holding a grudge. You free them and you free yourself, and you're on your way. And that's called evolution. We only complain about our life when it's not working. Nobody complains about their life when they're joyful. They just don't. You only complain about your life when you're angry or bitter or frustrated. So if a person starts working on regulating different states, then they'll say, God, I feel so great. I'm not going to lose this feeling because of that person. I'm just going to see them, wow, I used to be like that. I just totally get them. And now you're free. And I think that's the beginning of unconditional love. I always start my meditation by raising my energy. I always start with placing my attention in the center of my chest. Where you place your attention is where you place your energy. And then I start practicing slowing my breath down, and then I start cultivating an elevated emotion like gratitude or joy or freedom. And I sustain that state until I start feeling my heart beating.
Tell me what that means, cultivating gratitude or joy. Is it just bringing thoughts of gratitude?
I'm feeling it. I'm feeling really grateful to be alive. I mean, and I'm doing that without any reason. I'm just doing it because I want to.
And you're familiar with it.
I can do it because I've practiced it enough times. Just like people practice pretending being suffering all the time. Sure. It's the same thing. I'm just trading the chemicals of suffering for the chemicals.
Every child can pretend that they're sad if they're asleep, right? Why can't we pretend at the beginning that we're joyful or we're grateful?
Exactly. So then by doing that, then I start raising my body's energy. And then when I do that properly, then I'm ready to create. And so then my next step is to get beyond myself. And our research shows that if you take your attention off your body, you become nobody. If you take your attention off people in your life, you become no one. If you take your attention off the things you own, you're in nothing. If you take your attention off the place you have to go, you're in nowhere. If you take your attention off of time, you're in no time. That's the moment you become pure consciousness. That's the moment that you all of a sudden start connecting to that unified field or that quantum field that I talk about. So I go as deep as I can into that unified field, and I keep surrendering deeper and deeper into it, because the more I connect to it, the more whole I feel. And now I'm in the place where all things manifest from. So then from there, this depends on what I want. I may change my energy and tune into the potential of a mystical experience, or I may create a new opportunity. I don't know, whatever it is I'm working on, or just whatever I choose to do it. And then I sustain that for a period of time, and then I surrender it to a greater mind, and get up ready to have my day be unusual and different. There are I challenge myself to deeper and deeper degrees. I mean, look, when you heal yourself, the next question is, can I heal another person?
What else can I do? Yeah.
And then yes, it's a great question. What else can I do? And so I think it's methodical. So I'm passionate about it. I do it quite a bit. I have created amazing things in my life. Some things people wouldn't even believe. But I'm not the only one. I mean, there's so many students in our work that got it down. So for me, there's not a whole lot of things that I want material. I mean, I've had a lot of material things, and it doesn't really change you. What I really want are those profound mystical moments that just your jaw drops and you just go, wow, I got this all wrong. Wow, I got to really rethink life again. And I love those moments because some conditioning tends to be removed, some veil tends to be taken away, and you get a clearer view of the spectrum of the way life is. Look, if you have a mystical experience, we must have the biological systems in place in order to have those. So I break down those biological systems with the different glands in the brain, but when that system switches on, you are going to have a full-on sensory experience that is going to seem more real than you and I talking, but you're not going to be using your senses to have it. In other words, your inner world is going to be so transcendentally real that you're going to forget about this world that you're living in right now. And the pineal gland begins to release metabolites and neurotransmitters that fit into the same receptor sites as melatonin, but they're an upgraded version of melatonin.
Dimethyltryptamine?
Dimethyltryptamine is one of the 5.
Yeah.
But
is it 5?
Dimethyltryptamine is There's 5. So dimethyltryptamine creates the lucid visioning, right? But then melatonin is also an antioxidant, so you get 2 metabolites that are upgraded antioxidants that are way more powerful than melatonin: anti-cancer, anti-aging, anti-heart disease, anti-stroke, anti-neurodegenerative, anti-inflammatory, antimicrobial. You take melatonin, it's already relaxes the body. Now you have a benzodiazepine, which is Valium. Now your survival centers in your body are totally tuned down, and you're completely relaxed and present. You take the molecule, you tweak it again, and the same chemical found in hibernating animals. It already helps you to sleep, but now it just suppresses all your drives, your sex drive, your appetite. It suppresses your preoccupation in the environment. Your body is now in stasis. So now your body is conserving energy, and it's completely in the present moment. You take the molecule, you tweak it again, and you have the same chemical found in electric eels. The nervous system becomes highly activated, filled with energy. So it's activating those systems that causes you to slip into a world that transcends our senses, that is very profoundly real, that you exist in right now. Another one of you exists right now that's a Ben, but a very different experience of yourself. So I love those mystical experiences, because when I have those, experience enriches the brain, and experience produces emotion. So after one of those events, it creates a long-term memory, and when you come back to your senses, now you have the circuits in place to perceive a broader spectrum of reality, because now your brain is wired to perceive what's always existed, but you didn't have the neurocircuitry in place to perceive it. So whether it's an out-of-body experience, whether it's an interdimensional experience, whether it's a lucid, very profound moment where you're connecting to your soul, I mean, it goes on and on and on, and you only need to taste of one of those, and you're not so interested in Justin Bieber or Donald Trump. You might be interested in just something else.